The cognitive process of learning involves 4 key stages: attention, encoding, storage, and retrieval. Let's talk about practice tests and cued recall, 2 strategies related to the retrieval phase of learning. In an earlier video, we discussed distributed practice as a key study strategy for getting new content into storage. This is because reviewing your notes every few days means new content will become familiar and it will make sense, which leads to new learning. But how do we get the information out of storage and onto a test? When you review earlier material, you have a number of ways to do so, and some ways are better than others. For example, simply rereading the content from earlier lessons is the least effective way to study. This will remind you of what you need to learn, but it doesn't guarantee that you will remember it. Highlighting is helpful if you're only marking a word or two, but too much highlighting will trick your brain into thinking it learned the material when really you just turned it into another color. To truly make the most out of distributed practice, you want to do a series of practice tests. Because when you sit down to take a test, you won't have any notes in front of you, your textbook is away, and you aren't allowed to talk to a friend. It's just you and the test, and you're expected to dig up the answers solely from memory. So doesn't it make sense that taking a practice test is the best way to study for a test? How will you know if you've learned the material unless you can produce information solely from memory? That is the theory behind retrieval-based learning. After reading a text or attending a lecture, take a blank piece of paper and write down everything you can remember. Then, a few days later, skim it again and, without looking, write it all down again. Every couple of days, do the same thing. You see, your brain is constantly trying to suss out what it needs to keep and what it needs to dispose of. When you make the effort to retrieve the information from deep down in your memory, you're telling your brain, hey, this is something I want to keep around. But if rereading and constant rewriting is unrealistic, then cued recall is your next best bet. And flashcards are a good example of cued recall. On one side, you have a word or phrase that offers a cue, and on the other side, you have new information that you're trying to learn. Just don't rush it. Give yourself time to try and retrieve the information on the other side of that card. Let the neurons in your brain seek the right path to the result that you're looking for. If you commit to retrieving the material from memory, either by flashcards or a practice test, you will eventually remember more content for a longer time, even beyond the test day.